Hey, hi Patrick, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, so inspired with this event that you're doing here in Rio de Janeiro.
Thank you.
Wonderful view,
Oh my
wonderful
God,
clothes
so
up.
gorgeous. I know, amazing.
So when did you come to Brazil? Tell me about it.
Gosh, I came to Brazil a couple of days ago, so I've been here for a few days just meeting everybody and kind of catching up on the culture. And then, of course, the incredible Rio Ethical Fashion Summit people have been so wonderful to welcome me, and we've been doing a lot of planning, so yeah.
Nice, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is a perfect event. This is something that is going to start happening a lot around the world. So I think that you are one of the first influencers that are working seriously on these like conscious global swaps. As we all know, the fashion industry just like spends lots and lots of textiles every year, and there are also lots of clothes produced that are never used. So that's something that we have to just like start thinking consciously. And tell us, how is that you start working in all these? But like, how did you get inspired? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it was actually a very interesting story because I was working in hospitality and nightlife, and so I was always working around people and entertainment, and that's what I love. I love people and entertainment. And so when I kind of suddenly became present to the idea that the fashion industry was very destructive is when it's something called the Rana Plaza.
True.
When the Rana Plaza happened, and for the viewers that might not know, the Rana Plaza is the factory in Bangladesh that collapsed and killed more than 1,100, nearly 1,200 people.
Which is crazy.
And
those kind of news are news that just stay around like for 1 month, and after that everyone forgets. It's something that we have to work about.
Yeah. So that had a lasting impact on me.
Okay.
And I didn't really know where I was going to go from there, but I knew that consumption, when I saw that consumption was a huge problem, because not only was it a problem, but I was actually a promoter of consumption. So I was saying,
exactly.
I was like, drink this, do this, buy this. And so I was hired to do all those things. So then I reset my life, and then I was kind of like a walking zombie for a while. I didn't know what the heck I was going to do.
Finding yourself.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was going to do.
But those moments are actually very interesting for that people. I love people that do what they love, and I even love, and I love even more, like people that do things that inspire the world and that let us like wake up and be more conscious, because there are a lot of things that we need to work and more in this fashion industry. Yeah. So you started working with these swaps. Where was the first swap that you had?
Yeah. So they started So I came to Copenhagen for the first time, and I actually saw what a swap was. So swaps are not a new thing.
No,
they were new to me.
Right.
So
exactly.
It was new to me.
The system.
Exactly,
to our system.
Exactly. So I saw what a swap was, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can actually take all of the knowledge that I've amassed in the past 15 years of my life working in marketing and that kind of thing, and turn this into an education platform, because I really felt that it was important that people understand what was happening.
Sweet.
But I also understand that with marketing, you need to do things in a positive way to get people to respond.
Yeah.
And so I myself don't necessarily respond so well when I see like, for PETA, or like not to PETA, but like when bloody carcasses of animals or people dying, it's all terrible. But in order to understand,
and it's 2020 already,
well,
almost.
But there's a psychology to things, and you have to really appeal to people's warm side of their heart in order to get them to respond better. So at least that's how I've been trained and how I've been doing it. And so what we found is that this swapping actually really ignites that passion with people, and so that's how it started. Yeah.
Okay.
We're on camera.
Okay.
Can you?
And there are also like lots of brands, Patrick, that are just like starting to say, yeah, we are so conscious, we are working on sustainability, and just like a marketing strategy. And clients are not believing that anymore, So yeah, exactly. So there is a movement called Fashion Revolution, and there is a lot of people just like posting some pictures like where my clothes were made.
Yep.
I think that campaign did a great job to make people more just like aware about it. And which kind of strategies do you think that as a consumer you could adopt to understand if a company or if a brand is really being conscious and is really just like producing in a sustainable way? Which are just like your strategies thinking in the consumer side?
Well, some of the things that are, kind of interesting, I guess it's just common sense. Like there's something called greenwashing. I think that's the term for it. So what greenwashing essentially means is that when there's a lot of marketing push to go to something that the company is doing that actually doesn't take up a large footprint within their company.
True.
So say, for instance, they're spending millions of dollars on marketing to talk about a tiny capsule collection of t-shirts that happens to be sustainable. So it's about actually using common sense and looking at that. And I think a lot of consumers, they kind of don't necessarily have that common sense because they're not taught to, but that's one very easy thing, is like to look at the footprint of a company and say, what does the store look like
the whole picture, like the story of the company, to understand the values of the company, to see if they are actually working in a conscious way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and
nice.
I mean also too, but when you go a little bit deeper, like not everybody really understands what a supply chain is or how a supply chain works. But you can actually go onto a lot of websites, and many of these companies now are publishing the results or publishing the transparency of their supply chains, so you can actually see what companies are doing or what they're not doing, and that's another guide. So if you go to a website and there's nothing about transparency, and there's nothing about sustainability, and there's nothing about supply chain,
don't buy it.
Then the kind of answer.
Then think about it.
Then it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really love is asking those questions, writing to them, and reaching out to their marketing people, reaching out to their sustainability people, and asking the questions, and they will answer you. And Ursula and Carrie Summers, the founder of Fashion Revolution, did an amazing job to ignite that "Who Made My Clothes" campaign.
True.
And
I really like it.
So I think those three things, like just using common sense when you walk into a store and they say, "Oh, this is our new green sock collection," but yet you see thousands of other pieces.
And I'm going to sell that socks in 200 plastic bags that you are going to throw to the sea tomorrow.
Totally. Let's be real. But then also, then asking the questions, and then also, digging a little bit deeper and finding out what their story is. Yeah. So those three things.
So that's beautiful. Patrick, you're doing a beautiful thing with these fashion swaps. Tell our conscious consumers how is that they can just start swapping clothes with their friends, because that is something that you cannot only need to go to a big event or do it. This is something that we have to promote, and that we can do everywhere.
You have to have a friend first. There's one requirement. One requirement is you have to have a friend or friends. So that's the first thing. So find your friends. Your friends. But we have a toolkit on our site, Global Fashion Exchange /toolkit, which is an easy, simple guide. It has everything in there, from the vibe, the feeling, how to do it, how to set up. But you can do it in your living room. You can do it anywhere, and you could just do it one-to-one. But the idea is about getting people to understand that you don't have to buy clothes to be stylish and to live, a stylish life. And also the education components that we go along with it, which that go along with the swapping, are super important. That we want consumers to really understand are the amount of waste that goes into the environment, the waste stream from fast fashion companies that are overproducing. So it starts with your friends, it starts with your crew. Now this one that we're having over here, we have over 400 people that are coming to swap today. So this is a big one. But what's great too is once you've done a couple swaps with your friends, then you can connect with other organizations and say, hey, my local pub, my local restaurant, my local business, why don't we do a swap together? And then there's no reason why people would say no, because it's all completely free.
And that's a perfect way for just stop a bit the industry to continue making and producing more and more clothes. I was talking a couple of minutes ago with a girl that she's just right there, and she exchanged 5 or a couple of clothes, and she was saying it's so good to have something new, something to have something new to you. Exactly, that's perfect phrase. So we don't need to just buy new stuff to use it, but we can also swap with someone and enjoy that feeling.
And connect with somebody. I think that's an important thing.
And connect with somebody, and maybe that piece of cloth has a story that you can also adopt to your life. So that's a beautiful point. What's coming with Global
Fashion Exchange?
Fashion Exchange.
We're doing many things. So swapping is at the core of our ethos. We started there, but we're now starting to do many different things. So we do consulting for brands on communications. We do consulting for brands on strategy, on supply chain. So we're doing all those different types of things. We're now really looking at working on different conferences and different big events that are happening all over the world.
That's amazing. You're going to Cartagena, sorry to interrupt
Cartagena for Latin American Fashion Conference. I'm going to Sri Lanka in the next few weeks to do something there. But we're doing big swaps in countries all over the world. We're expanding our ambassador program, which is awesome. And it's really just all about educating people on what's happening out there, so they can kind of take this kind of crisis that we're having into their own hands and really take steps in their own, because that's a really, it's an overwhelming thing. I think it's overwhelming for me when I think about what the heck is happening in the world, and that something that I love so much, which is fashion, is one of the big causes
I know.
of it. So instead of like looking at it negatively and kind of coming down on it, every day with GFX we wake up and we say, how can we look at this positively? How can we ignite people? How can we get them inspired? Because going back to the original question that you said was like, you're gonna, and a saying we say in where I'm from is, you get more bees with honey. You know what I mean? You don't get bees with spraying vinegar on them.
Exactly,
so.
exactly. So that's the way.
So GFX is the honey, and you're the bee, honey.
And it's available for you all, bees.